But yes, it's by Kazuo Ishiguro. Oh my god. Wait. I am sorry. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And don't. I'm just making this clip to assure YouTube that I am 24 years old. I am an adult. Thank you. I also really quickly want to go over the current sweater I'm wearing. I designed it. That wasn't clear by me being in it. But I think I have 2 lines going of Otocinclus merch. One without my face, if you're not interested in wearing a shirt with me on it. Well, you don't see my face, but it's just Otocinclus, and I designed them both. It would mean a lot if you could share any support to the cause of breeding Otocinclus. And the merch is available on my Teespring, which I will link in the description below and also the comments. But yes, and thank you. If Otocinclus were not aquatic, or fish, basically, how would I want their behavior to be? I have 2 answers, if that's fair. I'm gonna make it fair. Rabbits are my favorite animal. I just love them so much. And to be able to have Otocinclus be a rabbit, I don't know how that would work out, but it would be the cutest thing ever in my... I think I would just die from cuteness overload. I think there's a reason why they don't have both superpowers, and that is because they would just be committing a crime, because they would actually kill me from cuteness. But the other answer I have, I love that they are shoaling fish, so I think that would be perfect for them to just still carry on if they were non-aquatic. And so then I would want them to behave kind of like gerbils, because also I love gerbils so much, and I feel like the social aspect of gerbils would be better for me, because can you imagine having like 20 rabbits? At least with 20 gerbils I could manage, but 20 rabbit Otocinclus would just be insane. The next question is, what is my second favorite fish? Now this person is expecting me to say Cories, because Cories are her favorite, and if I don't say Cories, I'm probably risking my life. So my favorite fish is Cories. Cories, definitely, absolutely. I mean, even if I just didn't say that just now, being at a life risk here, I think I wouldn't even need to. But actually it's true. My second favorite fish are Cories, I promise. They actually are, and I guess that has to do with the fact that they're a lot like Otocinclus. To someone's eye, they might think that my taste in fish is pretty bland, but I just love the personality that they carry. I love that they're shoaling groups. I love that they are kind of hard to breed. No, that's not why I love them. I don't love that they're hard to breed. We want to be able to breed them. But I just love the feeling that I get when I breed, like, these fish that are giving such a challenge. It feels like I'm actually doing something good. It's almost never noticeable to feel like you are actually giving a fish such a good life, or at least just normal and healthy. And so when we are breeding these fish, Corydoras and Otters alike, although Cories are a little bit easier, so, but they're still hard to raise the fry. Being able to notice them breeding and achieving that just really makes you feel like you're doing something good. So, especially the pygmy Cories, which look like even mini Otocinclus. So I don't know if that's fair, because I really love Otocinclus. I also got asked what my third favorite fish is, and I don't think I've gotten this far with thinking outside the box being Otocinclus. But there are actually a lot of fish that I love. I don't only just know. I've always dreamed of having, If you hear little scritches, I'm so sorry. My rabbits are being chaotic right now, and they're happy about it. So sorry. But, okay, question. There's so many fish, and it's hard to even make a top 3. But I think that I've always dreamed of having a koi pond. Japanese imported kois would be a dream. If I ever got rich one day, because they're super expensive. But just kois in general, or goldfish, they're just so amazing to me. I love them. I fell in love with the idea of having a koi pond from 2 things. The first being this book, An Artist of the Floating World, by... They're being chaotic right now. And they're happy about it. Nala? But yes, it's by Kazuo Ishiguro. Oh my god. Wait. I am sorry. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And it's about a guy who's talking about his retirement life after the war. And he talked about one of his friends having a koi pond, and the description the author gave this person, it was just so mesmerizing to me. I felt like just in the words he gave for us to read, I felt like this complete sense of solace. You should definitely read this. It's a good book. Well, it's just a mellow kind of book. I don't know. It's not the most exciting, but it's just so peaceful. Getting off topic here, but it's one of the reasons why kois would be my 3rd favorite. And then there's also this YouTuber who makes videos on his travels getting Japanese imported kois, and just the whole process. I fell in love with the vibe. My boyfriend actually showed me them, and it was just so amazing. And just the vibe and idea of having a koi pond when I'm older, because it could be expensive and I would need a big plot of land. It just seems like a vibe I want to have. Okay, so the next question is kind of a loaded question, so just warning, I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. But it is. Okay. Is it effective to increase algae production in your auto tank? Would that produce enough aufwuchs, or is it better to focus on diet variation with veggies and prepared food? Could you simply choose between having as much algae as you need versus a varied diet, and which would be healthier? A very common misconception about Otocinclus and also other algae eaters, or branded as algae eaters, is the fact that they can't just survive on algae. It's not balanced enough. Actually, the term Aufwuchs, which is a German word, it's describing the combination of both microorganisms and the algae. Surface grazers like Otocinclus actually look for those patches of Aufwuchs, which is the algae and the microorganisms that live in it. And they not only eat the algae, but they also eat the microorganisms. So things like copepods, live food, basically, are also something that Otocinclus eat in the wild. So it's not just algae that they need to benefit from. It's also essential for them to have protein and live or freeze-dried food in captivity. You can't just feed algae. And nobody has enough algae, no matter what they say, to sustain Otocinclus. They need more than algae, first of all. And so having a well-balanced diet, just like other fish who aren't technically herbivores even, but omnivores like tetras, they need you to add variety of greens and protein, so live or freeze-dried foods. They also need pellets, a healthy pellet, and algae wafers can be given to sustain them, get their tummy looking bigger. As they're not the healthiest thing in the world, but they're still good. Things like spirulina powder or chlorella powder would be much more essential to you to keep around, because you just have to mix a very pinch of powder into some water, or you can make your own gel foods like I do, and I have a video on that. But it would be nearly impossible for you to maintain algae in a tank full of autos, especially since you need at least 6. But I could go on about their diet, but I have several videos on it. The more specifically how to keep Otocinclus alive, and also I try to go over this in a lot of my videos in the Breeding Auto playlist. It's not just about breeding, but I also have a lot of resources for you to feed them. But again, the only answer for that would be the well-balanced diet that you feed. What is the hardest challenge when it comes to breeding autos? And I think I went over this a bit in my most recent of the auto questions that I get, or in the it's there. I've answered this question a bit. The hardest challenge for me, now that I have a way, we have a way to trigger spawning, the hardest challenge for me would be the keeping the fry alive. There's so many new factors that I've learned and experienced that I could try again with. I'm not quite ready to try yet, but I will. I definitely will. I'm in the middle of changing tanks. It's a surprise, but I guess not anymore. But yes, keeping the fry has been a challenge. I've only grown 1 to adult, as some of you may know, and it's still a great achievement. The fact that we can now see one go to the adult stage is a new accomplishment, but yes, the fry part, keeping them alive, has been tricky. You don't really get to know where they are, where they went, what happened when they die, because they're so tiny. But that is it for this video. I will always be open to answering all of your questions in the comments. Stay tuned for my future plans with the aquarium, because I am pretty excited. I have some new ones in the next video. Bye!